Hi, I just wanted to put together this little video to show you this reading strategy called previewing that you're going to be working on for the next 3 weeks in Pathway Connect 103. So previewing is a really good reading strategy to use. We have these reading strategies to kind of help your mind be ready to read. And when your mind is ready to read, then you're going to learn so much more from what you do read. So pardon that this is kind of in it's not in the presentation mode, but I wanted to show you these things and then show you on the web what I'm talking about. So, how to preview. So the things that you need to look for when you preview are headings, lists, pictures, who's the title, what's the title, who's the author. Those things make a difference. When you're just kind of looking at it, just to kind of get an idea. Why do we preview? You want to determine or guess what the main idea is. And I'm going to show you some examples on a web page, in a textbook, and in a novel. So I have here a web page, and we have web design for multiple audiences. This was, I think, a web page that I had to read when I was studying for my web media certificate at BYU Idaho Online. So when I look at this, I see, okay, here's Charles Dwyer. I'm not exactly sure who he is, but it was written on January 25th, 2017. So in the world of web media, that's a little bit dated, but that's okay. So what's the title? I'm looking at the title, Web Design for Multiple Audiences, How to Identify and Define Visitor Segments. Okay, so I'm just previewing here, so I'm not really looking. So I'm going to scan through. I'm just previewing. Okay, here is a heading right here, identifying different visitor groups. And then there's a list right here. Okay, so I can kind of scan through that. Oh, here's a nice picture. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure I'll be able to understand it later. Here's another headline, identifying problems with the current design. So as I read through this and another list, as I read through this, I can kind of determine this is how I can find problems with, a web page and why it's maybe not getting traffic like it should. Okay, so here is, I've just brought this up. It's a textbook. It's on Kindle. It's a preview, business ethics. So I can preview it right here. And as I'm looking, I can see this picture. It looks like a warehouse and looks like two people are trying to make a decision. I can scan through. When I scan through, okay, look here. Here is all the titles and headings that are going to be in chapter 1. So in the table of contents, it's going to explain to me, most of the major headings in each chapter. And look, there's some cases to kind of look at. So that is going to help me to determine as well. So I go through, okay, preface. Now, here I am in chapter 1, the nature of morality. And so if I look, here's an introduction, but here's, some highlights right here. And here's a chart. I don't know what the chart's about, but if I have to read business ethics, I'm sure I'll learn. Here's learning objectives. Those are very important to look through. Ethics, and looks like here's a good definition of ethics and a summary. These are things that you just kind of scan through to get what's the main idea. So that's kind of previewing in a textbook. Now let's look at a novel. I just picked this because I could look inside. So here's the front part, 5 feet apart, and it looks like flowering branch. I'm not really sure, but if I had the book in my hand, I could look at the back cover, and this is pretty much the back cover. So I'm going to preview, what the back cover says. So there's Stella Grant and Will Newman, and looks like something to do with their lungs. It looks like they both have lung disease from some way, but maybe they're kind of budding a little romance. So that's why this is probably in the shape of lungs, and I see the boy and the girl. And then I can look inside as well. It'll bring up. Well, if it doesn't, it's okay. Just wanted to let you know what previewing is about and how it can help you to just kind of get your mind ready to read. And I hope this has been helpful.